Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. This year should be a special Shlichus for Rafal Chaim Dov and Risa Shoshana l'Refuaso, Miriam Bas Chaya l'Refuasa, Esther Rus Bas Naomi Sarah l'Refuasa, Rabbi Yoshua Meir ben Rachel Sarah l'Refua Shlema B'Soch Sha'ar Chole Yisrael. In the Gemara in Bav Mitzia and Daf Yud Amud Beis, it says that when do we say yesh shliach l'dvar aveira, that you can have a shliach l'dvar aveira, and therefore when a shliach does something, it relates back to the mishalech and he gets the aveira? The Gemara says it's talking about a case where the shliach is not a bar chiyuv. If the shliach is not a bar chiyuv, then the ma'aser relates back to the mishalech. For Tosfos, how come then in Bava Kama and Daf Nutes Amud Beis it says that if you send a torch in the hand of a cheresh of a cotton, the din is that the mishalech is pater. Why should the mishalech be pater? Cherishot v'kader not b'nei chiyuv. And for Tosfos, no. Cherishot v'kader not b'nei shlichus. Since they're not b'nei shlichus, the ma'aser doesn't relate back to the mishalech. As Isaac Tosfos in Bav Mitzia and Yud Amud Beis. So we see from Tosfos that by shlichus la'aveira there's a miyut for cherish shot v'kader. However, this is not a universally held principle. That Mukhe Yosef in the Sugya and Bav Mitzia and Yud Amud Beis writes that if you have a cotton who doesn't have das to be mavchin between surah la'egos, between a rock and a nut, he is a shliach for the mishalech. He's considered a valid shliach. So we would say by a cotton, yet the shliach l'dvar aveira. What's he going to do with the mishalech as a veira b'yad cherishayt of a cotton? If the shliach l'dvar aveira, why shouldn't the mishalech be chayiv? So he says that it's talking about where, like the Nesiva says in Kuf Pei Beis, that he didn't tell him to put anything on fire. He didn't tell him to be mazik. So therefore, why should the mishalech be chayiv? He didn't send him to do an aveira, to do any damage. Tosfos also in Shavuos in Daf Gimel Amud Aleph says that by a cotton or by a goy, we say yesh shliach l'dvar aveira, and there's no chisaron of ein shliach l'dvar aveira by a cotton and an akum because they're not bari chiyuv. For Ekten Esivas and Shimem Ches Siv Dalit, I don't understand. Siv Cotton Dalit. That according to the Tosfos and Shuos and the Mukhe Yosef, that where if you're not a bar chiyuv, where the Mukhe Yosef is a cotton, Tosfos is even a goy. So if by a goy he's considered a good shliach, then how come on Shabbos we don't say that Amir La'akum is an Isur Daraisa? If yesh shliach l'dvar aveira, so then this akum is a good shliach, and it relates back to the mishalech, and the mishalech did a chilul Shabbos. Amir La'akum is only an Isur Darabanan. Why is it an Isur Daraisa? So the Nesivus answers, no, there's a chiluk. When do we say that yesh shliach l'dvar aveira? When dafka aveira sha nasa b'Yisrael shehu mitzuve olav hamishalech chayiv shashliach einu bar chiyuv v'kagon koin shamar kadish liisha grusha shadi ashlichus niskacha grusha l'koin v'chein ba'akfi li gadol shenasi Yisrael mukafal yado aval ba'oimer la'akum b'sheli b'shabbos shakum mutar l'vasha b'shabbos lo nasa aveira klal. It's okay. In other words, we say that yesh shliach l'dvar aveira, where a Kohen says to a Jew, marry me off to a divorcee, and there an aveira is being done. Akfili gadol, where he says to a cotton to round the heads of a gadol, to cut off the hair on the side of the head, which is asur. So there an aveira is being done. Nasi Yisrael mukaf al yado. But when he tells a guy to cook for him on Shabbos, no aveira is being done. Why not? Because the guy is allowed to cook on Shabbos. Chora doesn't make sense. Vada by a guy no aveira was done, but by a Jew an aveira was done. So therefore the Jew should get the aveira. He's his shliach. If the guy is the Jew shliach, the guy did a ma'aseh bishul on Shabbos, so the Jew gets it. So how can Tosfos say, no, it's fine. Midaraisa. How can the Nesiva say it's fine Doraisa? Because by a goy it's not an Aveira. But by the Jew it is, and he's a Shliach. So Gon Rabbi Abba Berman, the Shira Yu and Talmud, and Shir Lamed Zayin above Mitzia, explains as follows, that it's pashut, that Behilchas Maisa, the Maisa remains that of the Shliach. Even after Shlichus, the Maisa is the Maisa HaShliach. How do you know that? Because the Gemara has to find special Yalfuses that you know there's Shlichus by Kedushin, and there's Shlichus by Gerushin, and there's Shlichus by Trum at the beginning of the second parak of Kedushin. Why do you need special Yalfuses? If it's in the world of Maisa, once you have a Gilui Milsa in one place, that there's Shlichus, so then it's Shlichus everywhere. Why do you need a limud for each one? The answer is because in Hilchas Maisa, it's the Maisa of the Shliach. What's the Chiddush? There's a Chiddush in Hilchas Shlichus, that this Maisa of the Shliach relates back to the Mishalech. And since it's a Chiddush in Hilchas Shlichus, sometimes Shlichus applies, sometimes Shlichus doesn't apply. One Maisa is universal. If it's a Maisa, if you would say Shlichus of the Maisa, then it would be a Maisa Shlichus everywhere. If it's in the world of Maisa, because Maisa is uniform everywhere, same laws. But in the world of Shlichus, sometimes Shlichus applies. Sometimes Shlichus doesn't apply. We don't know when Shlichus is going to apply or not. So therefore we need a special Yafusa for Kedushin, for Gerushin, for Truma. So Memela, the Chiddush of Shlichus is not a Chiddush Behilchas and Maisa. The Maisa really belongs to the Shliach. We don't say it belongs to the Mishalech. Rather, it's a Chiddush in Dinei Shlichus. That there's a special din that even though the Shliach is doing a Maisa, the Maisa relates back to the Mishalech. So if that's true, we can now understand why there's no Amir Lakum Daraisa. Because whose Maisa is this? It's the Shliach's, right? Okay. Shliach did a Maisa. What Maisa did he do? Maisa Shel Heter. So now give that Maisa Heter back to the Mishalech. The Mishalech did Chil Shabbos of an Akum. Say they're going. It's not Rishut Daraisa. Because a Goy is allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. We like when Goyim are Mechal Shabbos. Goy Shabbos Chayiv Misa. So therefore, what's this Jew doing? This Jew is doing, who sent the Goy, he's doing, turning on a light of a Goy on Shabbos. Pseder Gam. The mice is the mice of the Goy, and just B'dinei Shlichus, it's his. Pseder. But he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. But let's say an Yisrael is asked by a Kohen to marry him off to a Grusha. So whose mice is it? It's the mice of Yisrael. But now, it's meaningless for him to divorce a Grusha. It's not his wife. To marry this, it's meaningless for him to marry this Grusha because he's not marrying for himself. He's saying, get married to Mr. Cohen. So when he marries her off to Mr. Cohen, now Mr. Cohen is married to a Grusha. So that's an Avera. That's Mr. Cohen's Avera. Not Mr. Yisrael. Mr. Yisrael is not a Bar Chiyuva. But that's Mr. Cohen's Avera. So whose mice was it? It was the mice of Yisrael. But this mice is Mesiach is back to the Mishalech. And now what did the Mishalech get? He got this Maisa Kedushin that relates back to him that now he's married to a Grusha. Can't do that. There we say that Yesh Li'echad Dvar Avera. Because there the Etzem Maisa is a Maisa Isser. Because again, the Yisrael is not marrying off the Grusha to himself. He's marrying her off to the Kohen. So now, and the Kohen's getting this Maisa Isser. It's Isser for the Kohen. But when a Jew asks a Goy to do Malacha on Shabbos, B'vakasha, what is he getting? He's getting the Malacha of a Goy, doing Malacha on Shabbos. It's perfectly mutter. In Hilchos Maisa, it's the Goy. So that explains the chiluk between the case of the Grusha and the case of Akum and Chilul Shabbos. However, what about the case of Hakafa? Why do we say that if a Jew tells a Goy to do Hakafa on a Jew, a Gadol, to round out the sides of his head, it's going to be an Isser on the Jew? Why? Goy is allowed to do Hakafa. So, what's the Jew getting? He's getting a Maisa Heter. Ma'abaya. So Rabbi Abba says that there's no Tushtel here. You can't compare Melech Shabbos to the Aveira of Hakafa. And that's based on the very, very famous Beis Halevi. The Beis Halevi says, in Chelik Aleph Siman Beis Zayin, that the Zimstin Achilas Matzah and Pesach and Mitzvah Achilas Kachim. Achilas Matzah, the mitzvah is mitzad the Gavra. The Gavra is chayiv to eat matzah and Pesach. Mashenke, the mitzvah of Achilas Kachim, the mitzvah is mitzad the Kachim, that the Kachim should be eaten. It's not a mitzvah on the Gavra to eat the Kachim. It's a mitzvah on the Kachim that they should be eaten. And for this reason, the Beis Halevi is mechalek that even though in mitzvah Achilas Matzah we require Achilas Kazayis, but in mitzvah Achilas Kachim we don't require Achilas Kazayis. Like it says in the Gemara, Achlu Kapul, why don't we require, it's more than a Kazayis. So why don't we require a Kazayis? Because when is there a Kazayis? The Kazayis is when there's a mitzvah on the Gavra to do a Ma'aseh Achila. But in the Kachim there isn't. In the Kachim there's a mitzvah that they should be eaten. And the mitzvah was fulfilled if the Kachim were eaten. So therefore it's a mitzvah on the Kachim, not on the person. And the person doesn't need to eat a Kazayis. Only when there's din on the Gavra he has to eat a Kazayis, but not when there's din on the Kachim. So we could say the same thing about an Aveira. Aveira Melechet Shabbos is mitzvah Gavra she'anuach b'Shabbos. As we don't say that the field should rest on Shabbos. The chicken should rest on Shabbos. It shouldn't be cooked. I don't know. Stay on the Gavra. Mashenkein ba'aveira da hakafa, and the aveira of hakafa, there the ikar aveira of the Maisa hakafa is that the head of a Jew is rounded out. It's mukaf. And therefore, since on Shabbos it's a din in the Gavra, so when the Akum does Malacha, he didn't do anything. He's not Musar ala Shabbos. So what's going back to the Jew who sends him to do the Malacha? A Maisa of Isser Shabbos? No. Because it's on the Gavra. The Isser is on the Gavra and the guy has no Isser. So he's Beseder Gomer. Happy guy, happy guy. No Isser. But Mashen came Isser of the Isser of Makiv, Pa'as Rosho. The Aver is mitzad Yisrael hamukaf al yado. Even when the guy does it, the Avera is mitzad that Yisrael is mukaf al yado. Because what's happening here? Is there a Maisa Avera being done here? The answer is yeah. Why? Because what's the Maisa Avera? A Jew is now allowed to have a rounded out head. He's now allowed to have the sides of his hair cut. So when a guy does that, that's considered a Maisa Avera. Now, is the guy going to Gehenna for this Avera? No. The guy's not even in the Parsha. But if he's doing it at the behest of a Jew, so this Maisa, which is Be'etzem and Maisa Avera, why is it Be'etzem Maisa Avera? Because a Jew is not allowed to have the red side of his head rounded. He's not allowed to be a Mukaf. So you can call this a Maisa Avera, because the Maisa mitzad the Chefts of the Jew, not the Gavra, the Goy who's doing the cutting. Goy who's doing the cutting is Beseder Gomer. Goy is allowed to do whatever he wants, as long as it's not over in the Shevet Mizbnei Noach. But that's as far as the Goy is concerned. But is this called a Maisa Avera? The answer is yeah, it's called a Maisa Avera. Because the Jew is Mukaf al Yado. So the Goy is going to be guilty for it, but the Jew is still Mukaf al Yado, it's a Maisa Avera. And Memela, if he's doing it at the behest of a Jew, if there's Shlichus here, what happens? It goes back to the Jew who told him to do it. And now a Jew gets a Maisa Avera. So we say that here there is Shlichus, that Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Avera. And that's the Lashon of the Nesivos. V'chein ba'akvi ligodo shenasi Yisrael mukaf al yado. In other words, there, in the Maisa, there's a din Maisa Avera of Makif. Since Yisrael is mukaf al yado, there's a Maisa Avera of Makif. And Shabbos no Maisa Avera. Shabbos when a guy does is not called a Maisa Avera. But mukaf al yado is a Maisa Avera. And since there's a Shlichus here, the Maisa Avera goes back to the Mishalech. And Mishalech is Chayev, as we explain. And the Torah is deep. We have a lot more to learn. Siyata D'Shmaya. I think we'll finish learning the Torah if we live for 100 billion years. Then we'll start thinking about finishing and realizing that it's never going to happen. Because the Torah is Rechava Mini Yam. It's just so broad and so vast. So we should be Zochet Haka Lilmodu Lamed the Tamid B'Simcha. Lishmor V'Lasso L'Kaim is called Divrei Salma Terasa V'Yahava. Amen V'Amen. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.